Let's talk about those conversations. You know the ones, they kind of sit in the back of your mind. You need to have them, but you just keep putting them off. Well, today, we're not just going to talk about them. We're going to build a blueprint to absolutely master them. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, before we go any further, I want you to get a real, specific situation in your head. Right now. Is it about a team member's performance, maybe a colleague who isn't really pulling their weight, or a project that's just gone off the rails? Get that picture crystal clear in your mind because we're going to build a plan for that exact conversation together, right here. It's easy to think that by staying quiet, you're somehow keeping the peace. But the reality? It's usually the exact opposite. The cost of avoiding these conversations is just huge. Trust starts to crumble, performance dips because real issues are being ignored, and the team just drifts further and further out of alignment. And let's be real, the emotional stress it puts on you as a leader, that just builds and builds. That silence is often way more damaging than the conversation ever could be. But here's the really good news. You don't have to go into this blind. There is a clear, proven framework that can turn these anxious moments into actual opportunities for growth and a stronger team. It's all about making that shift from confrontation to construction. So here's our roadmap. It's a simple, memorable, three-part blueprint. That's it. First, we're going to prepare ourselves. Then we deliver the message with total clarity. And finally, and this is key, we follow up to make sure it actually has a real lasting impact. So let's start right at the beginning. All right, part one, prepare yourself. Honestly, this is where the magic happens. I'd say 90% of the success of a tough conversation is decided by the quality of your prep work before you even open your mouth. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. See, preparation isn't about scripting out every single word. It's about managing your own head and your own emotions. It's about getting clear on your intent. This is what lets you walk into that room calm, focused on finding a solution, and actually ready to listen, instead of just reacting out of your own frustration. So, your prep starts with this one critical question. What is the real issue here? It is so easy to get caught up in the surface level stuff. Like, are you really just trying to solve a single missed deadline? Or is the core issue a deeper pattern of weak accountability? You've got to dig past the symptom to find the root cause you actually need to fix. Okay, once you've nailed down that core issue, you have to connect it to the consequences. Ask yourself, what is the specific, tangible impact of this behavior? Is it creating a ton of extra work for other people? Is it eroding trust with your clients? Is it just killing team morale? Getting super clear on the impact is what gives this conversation its purpose. It's the why. And from there, you've got to look down the road. If this doesn't change, what's going to happen? Seriously, play it out. What does this look like in a month? Or in 6 months? Could you lose a great team member over this? Could the whole project fail? Now, this isn't about scaring yourself. It's about understanding the true stakes and what's going on. It creates the right kind of urgency to finally act. And now, after all that, we're going to shift our focus completely. Just for a second, forget the problem. Instead, I want you to picture the ideal outcome. What does success here actually look like? What does it feel like? What's the new behavior you're hoping to see? Imagine the positive ripple effects for the whole team. This vision, this becomes your North Star. It's what's going to guide the whole conversation toward a positive, hopeful solution. So, with all that prep work done, you are ready for part two, delivering the message with clarity. And the goal here is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Be direct without being accusatory, and be clear without being cruel. Now, the absolute best tool for this is what's called the SBI Model. It stands for situation, behavior, and impact. It's just a really simple way to structure your feedback, so it's based on objective facts, not on your judgments or assumptions about what someone was thinking. And here is where you really see the power of this thing in action. Just think about the difference here. Saying, you're always derailing our meetings, that's an attack. It's a vague judgment, and it's going to put the other person on the defensive immediately. But when you use the SBI method, you get specific. You state the situation, in yesterday's planning meeting, the observable behavior, you shared several off-topic ideas, and the tangible impact, which meant we ran out of time to finalize the budget. See that? It's factual, it's objective, and it opens the door for real conversation instead of just sparking an argument. So this gives you a super clear 4-step flow for the conversation itself. You state the situation, you describe the behavior, and you explain the impact. And then, and I mean, this is the most important part of the entire thing, you pivot to step 4, discuss solutions together. This is where you shift from talking at someone to talking with them. You have to open the floor with genuine curiosity. Ask something like, from your perspective, what was going on there? Or, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this. And then, what ideas do you have for how we can make sure this doesn't happen again? This one step turns a confrontation into a collaboration, and that just changes everything. Which brings us to our final and absolutely critical section, Part 3, Follow-up for Impact. So many leaders do the really hard work of having the conversation, but then they fail to close the loop, and all that effort just kind of goes to waste. This is such an important mindset shift. Just getting through the talk isn't the victory. The real win is the lasting, positive change that comes after the talk. The conversation itself is just the starting gun for the real work of solving the problem together. So, how do you make sure this actually leads to real change? Well, you have to build a bridge to the future. At the end of your talk, you agree on concrete, specific actions. Don't just say, be more prepared. Say, for the next project kickoff, can you please send the pre-read 48 hours in advance? Put a date on it. Schedule a check-in meeting right then and there. Hey, let's connect next Tuesday to see how this new approach is working. And then send a quick, positive follow-up email just summarizing what you agreed on. It's not about creating a paper trail to trap someone. It's about making sure you're both totally clear and reinforcing that you're committed to this solution together. Let's just zoom out for a second. Why does mastering this one skill matter so much? Well, because it's not just about fixing problems as they pop up. It's about building a fundamentally stronger and more resilient team from the ground up. I really want you to remember this. Every single difficult conversation that you handle with clarity and respect is like a deposit into the bank of trust. It proves to your team that it is safe to talk about hard things and that you are all in this together, committed to getting better. And the rewards for doing this well, they're profound. When people know they can get direct, fair feedback, it builds true psychological safety. It fosters deep trust and respect. It makes sure everyone is pulling in the same direction. And at the end of the day, it just lifts the performance of the entire team. Look, this framework isn't just some abstract theory. It's a practical tool you can start using tomorrow to change how your team communicates, solves problems, and grows together. If you're ready to take this to the next level and you want to explore leadership development that drives these kinds of real, tangible results for your whole organization, you should visit newlevelwork.com. So I'll leave you with this question. Think back to that one conversation you were avoiding, the one we talked about at the very beginning. You have a blueprint now, so the only question left is, what kind of team, what kind of trust, what kind of future are you going to start building with it?